Hello, my name is Michael Dempsey with the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation, and I'd like to welcome you to our Frontier video series. In this series, we're going to show you interesting connections between sites out west and our local Civil War history. So let's get started. We're at our first stop here in Nebraska. Behind me is the Platte River. The Platte River stretches across the state of Nebraska, meets up with the Missouri River in the east, branches off into Wyoming in the north, and Colorado in the south. This river has always been a hub for life, whether it was thundering herds of animals, Indian tribes, or settlers along the way on the Oregon Trail. So, as you can imagine, such a sprawling river would have many, many branches, and one of those is our next stop. This particular branch of the Platte River is known as Dry Creek, and what is now a quaint stream would have been anything but when in 1858 it was sites like this that sparked the Colorado Gold Rush. One of those many men who was looking to sift his way to a fortune was Isaac Chatfield. Now, Isaac was only 21 years old when he and his young wife would set off on a wagon train bound for Denver. But upon arriving here, he'd find the area overcrowded and most of the quality gold claims already gone. Determined, but not defeated, he decided to head up to Nebraska and try his luck there. But unfortunately, rising tensions after the recently passed Kansas-Nebraska Act would drive him back home to Illinois. Upon the outbreak of the Civil War, Isaac would enlist in the Union Army, eventually rising to the rank of lieutenant of the 27th Illinois Infantry. His service would be short-lived, however, as by 1863, illness would force him out of the Army. It was then he decided to give Colorado one last try. But the Chatfield family Civil War service doesn't end there. Isaac's cousin, Edward, would also go on to fight for the Union as a private in the 113th Illinois Infantry. Young Edward would get his first taste of combat during the Vicksburg campaign at an engagement known as Chickasaw Bayou. He would go on to describe it in his diary as the following: "The heaviest of battles is raging, and the wounded are coming in very fast this afternoon. Our soldiers are all cut to pieces. It was the worst sight I've ever seen. Our boys are being slaughtered by the hundreds." Unfortunately for Edward, the worst was yet to come, when he would fight at the Battle of Bryce's Crossroads. That Union defeat would result in his capture and 10-month imprisonment at various prisoner camps, including the infamous Andersonville. Eventually, Edward was able to escape back to Union lines, but by this time, the war was coming to an end. After the war, Edward would follow his cousin Isaac west to Littleton, Colorado, where he would spend the next 20 years becoming a respected farmer, rancher, and pillar of the community. This status would help him land a job leading the city's public waterworks, where he would eventually help develop a system that rivaled even that of Denver. Edward would go on to pass away at the age of 82, but he's memorialized in the state park and reservoir that bears his name. That reservoir now provides water to millions of people every day. Thanks for joining us for this first episode of our Frontier series. And if you haven't already, please consider joining the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation. And until next time, goodbye from Colorado.